Canada's biggest airport was the scene of a multi-million-dollar heist of gold and other valuables.
So the loot was actually inside a cargo container, and it vanished shortly after it was.
This is something out of a movie.
We begin with a major break in a case that has all the maxims of a Hollywood thriller.
6,600 gold bars, $20 million, one plan that would shock the nation. These numbers paint a picture of the largest gold heist in Canadian history, executed right under the noses of airport security. But there's more to this story than meets the eye. As we uncover the details of this real-life thriller, you'll see how a perfect storm of insider knowledge and international connections led to a theft that left authorities baffled. The masterminds behind this brazen act? They might be closer than you think. Get ready to discover how this audacious plan unfolded and why it took so long for anyone to notice. The perfect crime scene. Toronto Pearson International Airport. Toronto Pearson International Airport, Canada's largest aviation hub and a sprawling metropolis of terminals, runways, and warehouses. Over 130,000 passengers and 1,000 tons of cargo move through its facilities daily. Securing this 4,600-acre area is a complex challenge, with multiple access points and thousands of employees. The cargo handling process at Pearson is an intricate dance. Planes land, cargo is unloaded and transported to warehouses, where it's sorted and prepared for pickup or onward transit. But this routine has weak points, moments where the right knowledge and timing could exploit vulnerabilities. At the Air Canada cargo facility, a nondescript warehouse filled with parcels and pallets, workers in high-vis vests move purposefully as forklifts whir back and forth. Everything seems normal, but beneath this everyday facade, a plan is unfolding. As April 17th, 2023 draws to a close, no one at Pearson Airport suspects anything amiss. The day shift winds down, and the night crew takes over. It's just another Monday evening, until 6:32 p.m., when a truck pulls up to the Air Canada cargo facility. To anyone watching, it looks like a routine pickup, but in this moment, $20 million in gold vanishes into thin air, setting off a chain of events that will span continents and unravel a web of deception. How did they pull it off? Who were these daring thieves who managed to outwit one of the most secure facilities in Canada? To answer that, we need to meet the masterminds behind this audacious heist, because sometimes the biggest threats come from within. The Masterminds. Insiders and outsiders unite. Imagine working at an airport for years, learning its rhythms, its blind spots, its weaknesses. Now, picture using that knowledge to orchestrate the perfect crime. For two Air Canada employees, this wasn't a mere daydream. It was a $20 million plan set in motion. But how did they transform from reliable workers to criminal masterminds? Meet Parampal Sidhu, a 54-year-old veteran of Air Canada's cargo division at Toronto Pearson International Airport, and his colleague Simranpreet Panesar, a 31-year-old up-and-comer in the same department. Their positions gave them intimate knowledge of the airport's inner workings, from cargo handling to security protocols, the perfect foundation for an audacious heist. But Sidhu and Panesar knew they couldn't pull it off alone. Enter Archit Grover, a longtime friend of Sidhu's with connections outside the airport. Grover became the bridge between the airport insiders and the external muscle needed to execute the plan. Picture late-night meetings in dimly lit parking lots, hushed phone calls, and encrypted messages. The conspirators divided responsibilities with military precision. Sidhu and Panesar would provide the crucial insider information, schedules, security gaps, and the exact location of the gold shipment. Grover would coordinate the external team, including the all-important getaway driver. Their insider knowledge unlocked every door. They knew exactly when the gold would arrive, how it would be processed, and most importantly, the weak points in the security system. Every camera blind spot, every shift change, every procedural loophole. They had it all mapped out. As the plan came together, the tension must have been unbearable. Imagine walking into work each day, nodding to your colleagues, all the while knowing you're about to betray their trust in spectacular fashion. The weight of the secret, the anticipation of wealth, the fear of getting caught. It's a wonder they didn't crack under the pressure. But in their meticulous planning, they made one crucial mistake. A small detail, seemingly insignificant at the time, would eventually unravel their entire operation. What was this fatal flaw? How did it lead to their downfall? We'll get to that, but first, let's step into the shoes of our conspirators on the day of the heist. The plan is in motion, the players are in position, and $20 million in gold is about to vanish into thin air. We're about to witness one of the most daring airport heists in history. The Golden Flight from Zurich to Toronto. A flight from Zurich to Toronto touches down at Toronto Pearson, carrying a fortune in gold bars worth over $20 million. This shipment is about to become the centerpiece of a heist that will shock the aviation world. Our story begins in a Swiss refinery, where 6,600 gold bars are carefully packed for their transatlantic journey. The refinery staff meticulously check the inventory, treating this exceptionally valuable cargo with utmost care. As the gold is loaded onto an Air Canada flight, multiple layers of security kick in. Rigorous verification of airway bills, tamper evidence seals, and strict chain of custody protocols are all standard procedure. The flight crew remains unaware of the precious nature of the cargo, a crucial part of the security measures. The plane takes off, carrying its golden secret across the Atlantic. Hour after hour, it flies over ocean and land, finally approaching Toronto on April 17th, 2023. At 3:56 p.m., the wheels touch down on Canadian soil. So far, everything's gone according to plan, both for the legitimate handlers and our waiting thieves. Now comes a critical phase, offloading the cargo. Workers at Pearson, oblivious to the value of this particular shipment, follow their usual procedures. The gold is moved from the plane to a secure area within the Air Canada cargo facility. It's here, in this unremarkable warehouse, that our story takes its most dramatic turn. At 6:32 p.m., the gold reaches its designated storage spot. It's contained in a surprisingly small space, a container just 5 to 6 square feet in size. To the casual observer, it looks like any other piece of cargo, but inside lies a fortune that's about to vanish. The tension builds as the evening progresses. Every passing minute is an opportunity for someone to notice something amiss. A misplaced document, an extra security check, even a curious employee could derail the entire plan. But nothing happens. The gold sits, waiting, as the usual bustle of the cargo facility continues around it. This is where the insider knowledge of our conspirators proves invaluable. They've chosen their moment perfectly, exploiting gaps in surveillance and taking advantage of shift changes. The security measures designed to protect such valuable cargo are about to be turned against it. As night falls over Toronto Pearson International Airport, our golden prize sits in the Air Canada warehouse. It's made an incredible journey, from Swiss refinery across an ocean, protected by some of the most sophisticated security measures in the aviation industry. Yet, in a matter of hours, it will simply disappear. The stage is set, the players are in position. What follows is a masterclass in deception that would make even the most hardened criminals take note, as we witness one of the most audacious heists in aviation history unfold. The Heist, a masterclass in deception. Durante King McLean, a 25-year-old from Brampton, Ontario, approached the Air Canada cargo facility at Pearson Airport with a daring plan. To the casual observer, he was just another truck driver making a routine pickup, but King McLean was about to pull off one of the largest gold heists in Canadian history. As he pulled up the loading lock, King McLean presented his golden ticket, a fraudulent airway bill. This single piece of paper was the key to unlocking millions. The warehouse staff, trained to trust the system, checked the document and found it in order. A forklift rumbled to life, and the operator began loading heavy containers into King McLean's truck. Each movement brought millions of dollars in gold bars and foreign currency closer to the thieves' grasp. The loading process continued smoothly despite the risk of discovery at any moment. With the cargo secured, King McLean prepared to leave the facility. He maintained his composure as he approached the exit, exchanging casual pleasantries with the security staff. His demeanor betrayed nothing of the fortune he was about to drive away with. And just like that, it was over. King McLean's truck rolled out of the Air Canada cargo facility, carrying $20 million in gold and currency. No alarm sounded, no security team scrambled to intercept him. To everyone at Pearson Airport, it was just another truck leaving the premises. As King McLean merged onto the highway, leaving the airport in his rearview mirror, the true audacity of what had just occurred began to sink in. One of the largest gold heists in Canadian history had been pulled off with nothing more than a forged document and a lot of nerve. But where was King McLean headed, and what would happen to the gold now that it was in the wind? The story of this daring heist was far from over. The most intriguing chapters were yet to be written. The Vanishing Act, tracing the stolen gold. $20 million in gold vanished from Pearson Airport, setting off a chain of events that would lead investigators on an international chase. As King McLean's truck left the airport, the thieves executed a meticulous plan to evade detection. They zigzagged through the Greater Toronto area, using less traveled roads and making seemingly random stops to confuse any potential pursuit. But escaping with the gold was just the beginning. The real challenge lay in transforming these marked bars into untraceable wealth. A small portion of the gold made its way to Ali Raza's nondescript jewelry store in Mississauga. There, smelting pots, casts, and molds were used to melt down and recast the gold into innocent-looking jewelry or ingots. However, the bulk of the stolen treasure was destined for much larger markets. Detective Sergeant Mike Mavety revealed a crucial detail. Quote, "You can take gold with serial numbers on it, and they will still honor it and melt it down," end quote, referring to practices in Dubai and India. This opened up a world of possibilities for the thieves. Imagine crates of gold bars, their identifying marks still intact, being shipped across oceans. In the bustling gold souks of Dubai or the back alley refineries of Mumbai, these stolen treasuries could be absorbed into the global gold market with alarming ease. Lists uncovered by investigators painted a picture of a vast, well-organized network spanning continents. The web of connections extended beyond gold. As the investigation deepened, links to firearms trafficking emerged, with some suspects facing charges related to gun smuggling. This revealed the dark underbelly of organized crime, often lurking beneath high-profile heists. As the stolen gold disappeared into the global market, its trail growing colder by the day, a crucial question remained. How long would it take for someone at Pearson Airport to realize that millions in precious metal had just walked out the door? The answer would turn a daring heist into an international manhunt, stretching from the streets of Toronto to the glittering markets of Dubai and beyond. The alarm bells, discovery and initial investigation. As dawn broke over Toronto on April 18th, Pearson Airport was about to become the center of a $20 million mystery. What unfolded in the next few hours would expose alarming security gaps and launch one of Canada's most expensive investigations. At approximately 3 a.m., Brink's Canada employees arrived in the Air Canada cargo site for what they thought would be a routine pickup of gold and currency. But as they approached the designated area, something felt off. The container wasn't where it should be. They double-checked the paperwork, thinking there must have been a mistake, but there was no mistake. The gold was gone. Imagine being the person who had to make that call. The Brinks employees immediately alerted Air Canada security, who contacted the Peel Regional Police. Within minutes, the quiet night shift at Pearson Airport transformed into a scene of controlled chaos. Security teams scrambled to lock down the facility. Every entrance and exit was sealed. Every employee was questioned. The initial hope of a misunderstanding faded rapidly as the hours ticked by and every nook and cranny of the cargo facility was searched. As news of the theft spread, the pressure on investigators intensified. The first 48 hours of the investigation were a whirlwind. Detectives pored over security footage, interviewed dozens of employees, and tried to piece together the thief's escape route. The use of a fraudulent airway bill, a duplicate of a legitimate document from a previous shipment, had allowed the thieves to slip through security protocols unnoticed. Peel Regional Police issued 37 search warrants and 70 production orders, casting a wide net. Every lead had to be followed. Every piece of evidence could be the key to cracking the case. The investigation, dubbed Project 24K, quickly grew in scope and cost. With an estimated price tag of $10 million, it reflected the massive resources being poured into finding the stolen gold. As Project 24K progressed, investigators began to uncover international connections, hinting at a sophisticated criminal network that stretched far beyond Canada's borders. What started as a local theft investigation was evolving into something much bigger: the unraveling of a global criminal enterprise. The ripple effect, legal and financial fallout. The $23.8 million heist at Pearson International Airport set off a legal firestorm that would pit two corporate giants against each other. Brinks Canada, responsible for transporting the precious cargo, fired the first shot by suing Air Canada. They claimed the airline's employees failed to properly examine and authenticate the forged document presented by the thief. At stake, a staggering 400 kilograms of gold and nearly $2 million in cash. But here's where things take an unexpected turn. Air Canada quickly denied any wrongdoing and dropped a bombshell. They hadn't insured the valuable cargo. This admission sent shockwaves through the industry. How could such a valuable shipment be left unprotected? And who would foot the bill for this massive oversight? The lawsuit opened up a complex web of legal questions surrounding cargo theft. Experts weighed in, explaining that liability often hinges on the adequacy of security measures and the actions of employees handling the cargo. Every procedure, signature, and camera angle could make the difference between culpability and exoneration. As the legal battle unfolded, the repercussions spread far and wide. Insurance companies began reassessing their risk exposure, potentially leading to higher premiums across the cargo industry. Airlines and security firms scrambled to review their protocols, knowing that the next high-value shipment could be a potential liability nightmare. The heist exposed vulnerabilities not just at Pearson, but at airports worldwide. Security experts from London to Singapore scrutinized the details of the Toronto theft, searching for weak points in their own systems. Could it happen again? The unsettling answer was yes. The investigation alone carried a hefty price tag of $10 million, underscoring the case's complexity and scope. It was a stark reminder that in high-stakes cargo transport, the true cost of a heist extends far beyond the stolen goods. While lawyers argued and security experts theorized, investigators were about to stumble upon a breakthrough. The trail of the missing gold was leading them down an unexpected path, one that would reveal the true scope of the criminal enterprise behind this audacious heist. The breakthrough, from gold to guns. Sometimes, the smallest oversight can unravel the most intricate criminal plots. For the masterminds behind the Pearson gold heist, their downfall began with a simple traffic violation. What they were transporting that day would send shockwaves through law enforcement on both sides of the border. It was September 2023, 5 months after the daring gold heist at Toronto Pearson International Airport. Durante King McLean, the truck driver who had calmly driven away with $20 million in gold, was cruising down a Pennsylvania highway. A routine traffic stop was about to change everything. As police approached King McLean's rental vehicle, they had no idea they were about to stumble upon a cache that would blow the gold heist case wide open. Inside the car, officers discovered a startling arsenal: 65 firearms, including modified automatic weapons and untraceable ghost guns. The connection between a gold heist in Toronto and a car full of guns in Pennsylvania might seem tenuous at first, but for investigators, it was the breakthrough they'd been waiting for. The discovery linked the stolen gold to an international gun trafficking operation. As detectives dug deeper, a name kept popping up: Prasath Paramalingam. He was accused of facilitating King McLean's illegal entry into the US and providing funding for the firearms purchase. The web of criminal activity was growing more complex by the day. The implications were staggering. Some of the very individuals involved in orchestrating the airport gold theft were now linked to a cross-border gun smuggling operation. It painted a picture of a sophisticated criminal enterprise with far-reaching consequences. The breakthrough sparked an unprecedented level of cooperation between Canadian and US law enforcement agencies. Peel Regional Police worked hand-in-hand with their American counterparts, sharing intelligence and coordinating efforts to bring down the entire network. As the investigation progressed, the true scope of the operation began to emerge. The gold stolen from Pearson was likely just one piece of a much larger puzzle. The collaboration between authorities on both sides of the border paid off. In a series of coordinated raids, law enforcement struck hard and fast. Key players were indicted in both Canada and the United States, facing charges ranging from theft and conspiracy to illegal weapons trafficking. But even as handcuffs clicked shut around the wrists of suspects, investigators knew their work was far from over. The arrests had exposed the tip of the iceberg, but how deep did this criminal network really go? And more importantly, where was the rest of the stolen gold? As the dust settled on this phase of the investigation, one thing was clear. What had started as a daring airport heist had unraveled into something far more sinister. The trail of missing gold had led to a shadowy world of international crime, leaving investigators with more questions than answers. The hunt for the truth was just beginning. The domino effect, unraveling the criminal network. The Pearson gold heist was far from over. As investigators closed in, they realized they were racing against time to stop an international criminal empire. Arrests came in rapid succession, revealing a sprawling network. Parampal Sidhu and Durante King McLean were just the beginning. Soon, Archit Grover, a longtime friend of Sidhu's, found himself in handcuffs. He owned the truck used in the heist and was wanted in the US for firearms trafficking. The plot thickened with Amit Jalota, allegedly the keeper of the stolen gold, orchestrating its transformation into untraceable wealth. Ali Raza, a jewelry store owner, faced charges of melting down part of the treasure. Detectives uncovered a goldmine of evidence, 2 debt lists detailing the distribution of over $20 million from the gold sale. These financial records mapped out the criminal operation, reminiscent of drug trafficking investigations. Despite the arrests, significant quantities of gold and cash remained missing. The hunt led investigators across borders, from Toronto to Dubai and India. Coordinating law enforcement efforts across continents proved challenging, with every lead followed and every warrant served a small victory in a larger battle. Investigators recovered about $430,000 in cash, believed to be profits from the gold sale, but this was a fraction of the millions still unaccounted for. Where was the rest of the gold? Who else was involved in this criminal enterprise? The Pearson gold heist had exposed an underbelly of international crime, revealing how easily valuable cargo could vanish into the global market. As the investigation continues, one thing is clear: this audacious theft will have lasting impacts on security protocols and our understanding of modern criminal networks. The aftermath. Lessons learned and questions unanswered. The Pearson gold heist continues to baffle investigators and the public alike. Despite 9 arrests and $5.3 million spent on the investigation, the case remains far from closed. While key players like Parampal Sidhu and Durante King McLean are behind bars, the majority of the stolen gold is still missing. Investigators are grappling with a mountain of evidence, including over 40 electronic devices seized from the suspects and a complex web of financial records. This digital treasure hunt could take years to fully unravel, with leads spanning continents from Dubai to Mumbai. The impact of this audacious theft reaches far beyond the missing millions. Airports worldwide have implemented enhanced security measures. At Pearson, you now see increased surveillance, stricter access controls, and a heightened sense of vigilance among staff. The gold transport industry faces its own challenges, with skyrocketing insurance premiums and investments in new tracking technologies. As the investigation drags on, there's a growing realization that this case may never be fully resolved. The sophistication of the criminal network and the scale of the operation create a puzzle with potentially missing pieces. However, law enforcement isn't giving up. Project 24K continues, with detectives working tirelessly to recover every ounce of gold and bring every accomplice to justice. The Pearson gold theft has exposed vulnerabilities in airport security and shattered illusions about the safety of valuable cargo worldwide. As investigators tally the costs and implement new safeguards, the incident serves as a stark reminder of the ongoing challenges in securing high-value shipments in our interconnected world. Conclusion. The Pearson gold heist exposed vulnerabilities in our most secure systems, combining insider knowledge with international connections to pull off an audacious theft. As investigators chase leads across continents, the missing gold remains a tantalizing mystery, with millions still unaccounted for and a web of criminal connections stretching across borders. The heist has triggered significant changes in global security. Airports worldwide are re-evaluating their procedures, while the gold transport industry faces skyrocketing insurance premiums and implements new tracking technologies. Every shipment is now viewed as a potential target, fundamentally altering the landscape of high-value cargo security. Peel Police Chief Nishan Durayappa captured the public's imagination when he remarked, quote, "This story is a sensational one, and one which probably, we jokingly say, belongs in a Netflix series. But the reality is far more complex than any Hollywood script. The investigation remains active and intense, with law enforcement agencies worldwide collaborating to unravel this intricate criminal network." As we reflect on this extraordinary event, it's clear that the Pearson gold heist has left an indelible mark on the world of high-stakes security. The reverberations of this audacious crime will continue to shape protocols and strategies for years to come, serving as a stark reminder of the ever-evolving nature of criminal enterprise in our interconnected world.